and happy Halloween! I'm wearing my great Hogwarts robes. Ravenclaw pride! Anyway, for today's video, I wanted to do kind of like another video just like one I did back in February, which was my DIY light up wand. I made this video where I showed you how to make a light up wand, and I made mine look like Tina Goldstein's, and so this time I want to make one just like Newt's. I have pretty much the same supplies this time. I'll lead you through the process again, but this time you should be able to see me do the whole process from here rather than the zoomed in version. So if you want that, go check out in the cards my other video from last February. But I'm just going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully this isn't too long. I'm also going to now take off my robes, which is sad, but I mean this thing, I'm going to get paint on it or something. I'll leave my scarf on until I actually start painting. Okay, so supplies that you need include pretty much just everything here. You will need some straws, they will be the base of your wand. I think I'm just going to use this blue one. And then you need some wire. So you want some thin wire. This I got from the inside of my phone charger, one that died and didn't work anymore, so I decided to use it for its parts. And if you want to buy it separately, I believe it's 28 gauge wire. It's preferable to have the silicone wrap around it. And then you also want some thicker wire that can bend pretty easily. This is 18 gauge aluminum wire, I believe from like Home Depot or something. You want, of course, an LED light for the tip if you're planning on making it light up. This is the rest of my LEDs. I just got a 100 pack of LED lights on Amazon, 5mm clear white. And then I also just have some jewelry pliers to cut and bend things. Electrical tape. I've got some paints over here and some hot glue, which I don't know if I'm going to be using it as much this time, but just in case I have it. Oh, did I say battery? Yes, you need a battery. It should be a 3-volt battery, I believe, so this one's a 3-volt one. I was planning to use it for this, but it's sitting around, and I think it's dead because it doesn't make it light up. And I kind of freaked out for a second and thought that when I bought all my LED lights on Amazon, they just didn't work because it wasn't working. And then I'm like, oh, let's just use these other batteries that I have in store. And it's like, it doesn't work. But then I realized that these ones are 1.5-volt batteries. And so in order to make more volts, you just put more batteries in series with each other. And so when I put 2 batteries, then it lights up. So we're good. It's gonna work. So let's get started on this. I'm just gonna use this as the base. So step 1, I wanna set up all the wiring. So I just cut the wire into 2 pieces about the length of the straw I'm using, and then 1 really small piece. And I made sure to take some of the covering off of the ends so I can connect it to the LED. Now with the LED, I wanna make sure I remember which one is the long one and which one's the short one, because the long one is the positive one and the short one's the negative one, and I need to make sure I'll connect the long one to the positive side of the batteries. Now I'm going to curve a little loop at the end so that it'll stick to the wire better. So now both ends have a little loop, and then I will take 1 piece of wire and thread it through one of those and wrap it around. And then I'll take the other piece of wire and thread it through the other one and wrap it around. Okay, so now the LED is good to be attached. I am going to go ahead and tape that together so it stays in place. Okay, so I got that taped up there. Now let's just double check to make sure everything works. I made this one lower on the positive end so that I remember which one's positive. And this is a little bit hard to do without it attached together. Let's balance the batteries, and does it light up? Yep, we're good. Okay, so the next step is to thread the wires through the straw. They should come out right at the end. I just realized that I did this in slightly a different order than in my last video. In my last video, I did the switch first and then I put the LED in. But I just put the LED in, and now I'm going to work on the switch. So this is when the thicker wire comes into play. You are going to make a loop around it about where your thumb goes and take that down, and then also a line that will be the switch that can connect to the loop. So I'll take this wire and make a loop around the straw, and then you want to bend it down in a perpendicular position so it'll go down the straw. And then once you have that going down to the bottom, you also want to bend the end so it hooks onto the bottom of the straw. Now we will also make the switch with a similar piece of thick wire. I'll start by making a little loop on the end so it won't be pointy where you're touching the wire. Then you want to make sure that will touch the loop at the top, and then you will also bend this around the straw as well. Once that is attached properly, it should look like this, where there's two wires with one that has a loop that goes around the straw and one that forms a switch that'll touch it. Now we're going to want to attach some of the wires to these switches. So I'm going to take one of these wires and attach it to the bottom of the loop. And now this is when I bring the short wire into the mix, and I'm going to attach one of the ends of the short wire to the end of the switch. I'm going to put the switch back on and then tape them together just so they'll stay in place now. At this point, you might need to double check whether the short wire is the positive or the negative one, so let's double check that with our batteries again. So the extra short wire that I attached, which actually makes it look like the long wire, is negative, so I need to make sure I attach that to the negative side of the batteries. So now is when we put the batteries together, and since I have two and the wires, I need to make sure I tape them really tightly and hold them together. Okay, sorry if the flame jumped there for a second. It took me a minute to figure this out. It was not working very well with the two batteries. And right now I just want to apologize for how kind of finicky this way of doing it is. I'm coming up with a new way to do it that requires more special order supplies, and so I hopefully will come up with a video about that sometime soon. I'm not positive when that's going to happen, but for now we'll just stick with this way. But anyway, I got the batteries together and it lights up when I switch it on. So that's what we want. Now what we're going to do is cover it with paper, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video is one of the supplies. So let's get all of this stuff out of the way for now. So I'm just going to take a couple of pieces of paper and roll it up, and then I'm going to tape it instead of hot gluing it because that's easier. Okay, so I decided I kind of do need the hot glue for stuff, so I took off my scarf so I won't get that on it. I wrapped it with paper. I mostly used hot glue to glue the edges. I'm making it in the shape of Newt's wand, so I also have to fill in this space a little bit more because I couldn't make it start curving up until after this switch. So I'm filling in this a little bit. And then for the fun part, we'll get to actually paint it to be like Newt's wand. This takes a lot of hot glue. Okay, so I finished filling in the tapering form with the hot glue and covering the paper. I also filled in the bottom here with hot glue to keep everything in place and also to give the bottom more form since the paper was so spread out by then. And it does work and light up. It flickers a little bit, so that's annoying, but it's okay. I'm going to figure out a better way to do this, and when I figure that out, I will get to you about that. Okay, so now we just have to get the painting done. Newt's wand is in different colors of brown, so I've got to get my black paint, my brown paint, white, and yellow, I think. Okay, so I've got this nice light brownish orange color for the top here. I'll probably have to go over it a couple of times. That's the downside about filling in the form with hot glue, is that the paint isn't as clear as if it's just on straight paper, but that's alright. Okay, so I just finished painting it. With Newt's wand, you have the lighter orangish brown up here and the darker brown down here with some black in the middle, and then also the white in here. I think I got the shape pretty good for it being hot glue. It's not super smooth. I'm trying to figure out better ways to do these wands. I did this just the same method as the ones I did last time, but hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to maybe make these look a little bit better and less like a melting candlestick. Anyway, this one, the light works really well. It works better than the one on my Tina one, although I did accidentally get some paint under there, so I just have to scrape some of that off of the wiring, but if I get that out, then it lights up pretty well. Anyway, I'll get back to you when I figure out better ways to do this. I'm gonna be working at it a little bit in the future, but I just wanted to get you a video of me making Newt's wand so you can see kind of the form to it and that you can do any design with the light up function. As well as I wanted to show you a different angle for when you're making it, so if you want to check out the close-up shots, those are in my last video when I made Tina's wand, so go ahead and check that out. that I mentioned before. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Please leave a like on it and also comment below on your thoughts, maybe ways that you think that this could work out better, or ways that you've had difficulty with it when you're trying. My main thing is that it just gets finicky because I'm just wrapping the wires around each other instead of soldering them together. So maybe sometime I can try that and show you how that goes. And then the other thing is the battery, because sometimes the tape doesn't hold it perfectly, and the fact that I had 2 batteries instead of 1 this time didn't help that. Anyway, if you have any thoughts on how to improve the process, comment below with those, and definitely subscribe to my channel to check out more videos as they come up. There have been a lot of Fantastic Beasts ones in the last month, and you betcha there's gonna be some more. Anyway, you can subscribe by clicking over here. Definitely check out my videos. This one up here is the other one where I make a light up wand, but Tina's. And then down here is a playlist of all of my Harry Potter videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next Monday. Bye!